What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is the 10 most insane police chases.
This should be good.
We love a police chase video.
We do. We did a previous one, didn't we? It was like crashes from police chases, something like that a long time ago, and it was good. Yeah, and we also love watching traffic cops, don't we? We
do. We like watching. I don't know why we like watching it.
It's just something good, you know what I mean?
Like, every time I hear a police siren, I look out the window.
Oh, yeah, you just nosy with that, aren't you, as well? This should be good. It's a new video we haven't seen before. 10 most insane police chases. It's just going to be good, isn't it? Are you ready?
Yeah. Are you ready to get into it?
Smash that subscribe button. Smash that subscribe button.
And the like button.
And the like button. I was meant to say like first time. I said subscribe twice.
We are like 400 and something off 151, which is insane considering we only hit it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
150.
So smash that subscribe button.
If you could just do
appreciate
that,
it. Are you ready?
I am. 10 most insane police chases. What we got?
What have we got? Let's go.
These are the 10 most insane police chases on the internet. Make sure to drop a like and try not to run away from the cops, or else you'll end up like number 10. Okay, so what really sets his first chase off for most is the fact that not only are the cops chasing down a literal school bus, but its driver is actually a student at the very school from which the bus was stolen from. Airing on A&E's Live PD, this juvenile driver was barely old enough to be behind the wheel, let alone handling a 26-passenger bus.
How did he do that?
Considering he was already bound to be charged, this young driver decided to swerve all over the road,
he went all in,
even heading into oncoming traffic. However, rather than colliding with the traffic on the other side of the road, our bus thief decided to go for a different target.
Thing is, the bus is winning.
Nobody was seriously injured in this crash, and the kid was apprehended by police shortly afterwards. If this kid ever wanted to steal a car again, let's just hope he looks for a game like GTA for his thrills rather than actually doing it in real life.
Yeah, don't do that in real life.
On to number 9. As far as police chases go, it's not uncommon to see a biker who isn't really keen on following speed limits enforced on highways. For this driver, though, he wanted to do a little more than go fast, as he evaded police custody. And rather than keeping his eyes on the road and attempting to truly escape the cops, he kind of wanted to show off a little.
Yo, he deserved to fall off for doing that. Or get caught.
His feet on the seat, that was more than some could stand.
I mean, don't do that because it's stupid and I hate when people do that, but it's skillful. It is like, kind of like that. It's
but also like, it's like when kids do wheelies in the bike with their bikes. It's like, you're not cool though.
It's
not cool.
It is quite sick, though.
Look at this. He is totally...
I mean, I guess if he's going to jail anyway, he might as well make it a ride worth talking about once he gets put behind bars. Crazy part is, the culprit in question actually thought it was strange that the police tried to kick him off his bike during his joyride. Regardless of if he agreed with it or not, the guy was inevitably caught and promptly paid the price for his reckless antics.
Thing is, you're never going to get away, are you? No
was
chance.
Arrested for felony evading and driving the wrong way.
What do you mean you didn't endanger anybody? You were standing on your bike going 100 miles per hour.
At the end of the day, nobody was hurt, and the guy apologized to his 2 daughters before being booked for his crimes. While he did walk away with a one-of-a-kind story to tell, I doubt it was worth the time spent in jail.
Definitely.
Number 8. Imagine you're out on a family road trip, you know, RVing across the country.
Nice.
You stop at a place to rest and relax when some crazy lady hops in your RV and
It was a demolition derby.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Look at this.
A chunk of the RV was ripped away.
to make
At that
matters
point, you
worse
know,
here, the lady brought her 2 dogs in the
what you
vehicle
gonna
with
do?
her while she went for a dangerous joyride. And it gets really scary when one of the dogs does this.
Her dog.
Oh my days.
Fido out there on
He's
the front
staring
there
out of
in
the
front
gaping
the,
hole. Even the dog can't believe it. He's had
clip
enough.
away.
Out he goes.
Oh my God.
I mean, thankfully the pup limps away, but if this woman wasn't already in enough trouble with the police, considering her dog jumped out like that, I'm sure she's catching flack from PETA as well. She goes on to ram into other vehicles, leaving a trail of destruction before one crash makes her chase come to a screeching halt. The only serious injury was to the pup that jumped from the car, who then had to wear a pair of casts on its front and back legs until making a recovery.
I'm glad he's okay, though.
If this lady is ever allowed to drive away again, I just hope that she decides to keep the pooch far away from any of the action.
So sad.
Number 7. If you were ever trying to outpace and escape the police, I'd imagine some of us would do just about anything to get away. Whether that be driving along the same highway at high speeds for hours on end, or even doing something as insane as boarding a moving train.
I had to stop for this train.
Wait, what?
We are following this now.
But people with cameras nowadays, you're never going to get away with it.
In the back of the vehicle too, but again, this person has jumped out running on foot.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you've got to commend this guy's resolve in not getting caught. I mean, really, who here can honestly say that they would chase down a moving train just to board it and
he's left his
evade
mate.
the cops? Like, the man just sneaks aboard the scrap train and rides it for a while before ditching it to take off on foot.
They're in the back seat as well, but again, this person running right along the railroad tracks. Very close there.
You almost wonder if he's going to try to jump onto the train right there.
Well, the other two folks in the back of his car had already been apprehended by this point. This guy just kept on running until he was inevitably caught by police later that day. Well, obviously none of us can condone his actions.
I mean, especially when there's a helicopter following you. You're hopping on a train, which everyone knows where that train's going.
Exactly.
What do you think's going to happen? I get you are panicking in that situation, but
it's better to have yourself in because then you're doing less time for running.
You're just making it worse, aren't you?
I'll respect the effort put in by this guy trying to escape. The man
You do have to
literally
respect
jumped onto a moving train. Number 6. If there's one thing we've all done while playing the Grand Theft Auto series, it's easily spinning out and crashing during a police chase. Naturally, the main vehicles following you are, of course, police cruisers, and while some of us just grab another pedestrian's car, the rest of us run straight for a cop car instead. So, when this guy totaled the first vehicle he stole, the next closest car just so happened to be that of the very officers who were meant to apprehend him.
Oh, wow.
In general, and seeing what's going to happen here.
Oh, the police car.
This did not happen.
Oh, no.
Because I bet people wouldn't think he's criminal if he drives properly.
Puts his lights on.
Somehow he manages to evade the cops and even take off with one of their cruisers, and that's not even the worst of it.
To the woman who was on her hands and knees, both leaving their car.
And there's another officer that's just clueless. He doesn't even know.
He doesn't know.
Oh, this is...
They haven't figured it out
I mean,
yet.
You can't really blame the officer who keeps on going here. Like, how in the world would you ever expect that your peers would let a suspect get away and with one of their own vehicles? Well,
Mad,
I
innit?
say get away, but the chase only continued on for like another 20 minutes before the crook was arrested.
Because it's a big
his
camera on
maneuvers
him.
were pretty tactical.
I know.
They didn't exactly pay off in the
But
end.
I do rate it though.
Number 5.
If you're gonna do a good chase, nick a police car and get away, dupe him a little bit.
Yeah,
I do
but-
rate it. Don't do that, by the way, but I rate it.
The typical signs of a police chase are cars moving rapidly at high speeds, while occasionally causing a bit of havoc and even some destruction while trying to evade custody. For this chase, though, we're veering off on a different path. Rather than stepping down on the gas as hard as he could, this driver opted to do the exact opposite.
But why are they doing that?
Maybe the slowest ever.
Yeah, why am I not going in front?
Police followed the white Nissan for more than 2 hours.
What?
The
Why would
suspect
you-
in no hurry to escape. Crowds of gawkers gathered on overpass.
You ever hear the song Slow
I don't
Ride?
get
It
it.
kind of
Why
does
don't they just go in
indicate to
front
take
of
it
them?
easy, but this takes the lyric to a whole new level. This driver even cultivates a crowd waving to those behind the road, acting as if it was his like an own parkway parade.
I don't get why
While this
they
guy lives it
start
up,
doing
he's got
anything.
those police trailing at a similar speed until eventually the driver decides to kick it into high gear.
And went the wrong way down an access road to get back on the
They could have
interstate.
stopped this ages ago.
Yeah.
Then, enough is enough. A police SWAT car performed a pit maneuver and rammed the back of the suspect's car, causing it to slam into a concrete median.
But why not
After he's
just
detained
do
by
that
police,
first?
it was revealed
Yeah,
that the car
at slow
was chock
speed.
full of methamphetamine and that the
Whoa.
driver was, of course, under the influence.
Oh my days.
And that probably explains why he eventually tried to make a break for it. Number 4.
He thought, what am I doing? I need to get out of
So
here.
far, we've seen people try to escape the police on trains and RVs and even in other officers' cars. However, one thing we've yet to see and will likely not see for some time is a culprit trying to get away on his longboard.
Traffic, clutching the longboard.
That's going to get the
And
speed
then
up.
came a move worthy of a movie, if only it had worked. For 5 seconds, the suspect tried to skateboard away from officers
5
in hot
seconds.
pursuit on
And then
foot.
picked it back
Before all
up.
this, the man was being pursued by police in a car he'd previously stolen before crashing into the back of another driver's vehicle. Knowing he'd be caught if he did nothing, he did the first thing that came to his mind and tried to carve his name in the history books by attempting his own version of the Great Escape. With that in mind, though, if I were this guy, I probably would have just thrown it away and ran as fast as I could, but then again, regardless of what method he used, there was no escaping the long arm of the law.
Police were
Oh, he
closing in.
picked it back
the
up and ran with
Sabre
it.
had picked
Yeah, I
up,
know, it's
cut him
bizarre.
off, and practically pinned him.
Whoa! Who's that guy?
Next time he decides to try and evade the police, I just hope he brings something a little quicker than a longboard as a backup plan.
That might do the job.
That might work,
If that's
actually.
In
real.
most police chases, people
Fly
start
away.
in a car and end up running on foot, but this chase begins on foot as the criminal was originally caught and was being treated on a stretcher near an ambulance. But right before he was processed and cuffed, he opted to jump up and take the emergency vehicle for a spin.
They
shot him 3 times as he reversed and hit 2 officers in uniform.
Times. What?
For almost 90 minutes, Gavrowski leads police on a tour of Frankfurt and Cotman Avenues and side streets around the boulevard.
It takes a special kind of person to take an ambulance, you know, vehicle typically used for transporting the sick or injured, and instead use it as a getaway car. Then again, considering he was going to be charged for assault anyway, it makes his desperate attempt at escape seem a little more understandable.
Like, how are they not?
But regardless of whatever vehicle he decided to steal, it was bound to need a tow after the chase.
For 4 minutes, he tries to get in front of Gavrowski. His persistence pays. He flattens a front tire before spinning out.
Finally got the right tire.
They got there eventually.
He still was going. He was down like 15 miles an hour.
Yeah, this tow truck driver is definitely a hero for his actions here, because shortly after he popped the guy's front right tire, a spike strip finished the job, making it easy for the police to get the criminal back in custody.
And now he's even
more
more
chase only went on for like 20 minutes or so.
bothered.
It definitely would have lasted much longer if it weren't for this truck driver showing up to work early. Talk about dedication. Number 2. All right, if you can't tell by now, these chases come in all shapes and sizes, but the very last person you ever expect to see behind the wheel, well, are little kids.
Wait,
in the case of this 7-year-old, he had his first encounter with the law on a bright Sunday morning.
Weber County Sheriff's patrol car as the deputy followed the boy, unaware of just how young that driver was.
I'm going to say,
it was a wild
you
ride.
wouldn't know that he's like a kid driver, would you? You'd have no clue.
But the little guy never went over 35.
And while you can't really tell that it's a kid with him just driving along, it gets a lot easier to see once he pulls up to his family's driveway.
They'll never find me under the bed.
If I were to categorize the boy's skill as a driver,
the kid ran right inside and told his dad that the cops were outside without giving him literally any context. So when the officer went ahead and told the dad what his son had been up to before church, she was just as confused as any of us probably would be in that situation. I mean, in all fairness to the kid, when I was young, I remember always wanting to know how it felt to kind of like jump behind the wheel of a car.
I'm surprised
and while nowadays it's become a regular part of life for most of us, to this 7-year-old, it must have been an exhilarating experience. I mean, fair play to the kid. Honestly, it's just impressive that he came out of it uninjured and that he actually managed to drive pretty well for being 7.
And also,
next
he
time,
knew
let's just
how
hope
to
he
get
waits
home.
until he's
Yeah, he knew his way. Maybe he does it all the time. Just don't get caught. It's mad.
at least 16 before taking his folks' car out for a spin. Finally coming in at our number 1 spot, we're taking a look across the pond to a pursuit that happened in London, England.
Okay.
Conventionally, if you're trying to escape police custody, your vehicle of choice would usually be something small and fast, right? Well, for this intoxicated driver, he opted for something with a little more destructive power to go out on his rampage.
That's so English, isn't it? Tractor.
Just prior to the north end sort of roundabout.
Just said, freaked out, but the vehicle just tried to go must start the slip road.
Like I mentioned before, our driver here is under the influence, meaning that he likely has no regard for anyone else on the road. With that in mind, you can imagine he's not exactly the most careful when trying to avoid the very cops that are chasing him.
Oh my
days. You need to get yourself out of sight. If he sees you, he'll go for you. He already has done once before.
He goes on to hit several other police cruisers along his trail of carnage. You see what I did there? Okay, kind of cringe. Well, anyway, of course, the driver was inevitably caught by police, but not before he caused plenty of damage to all those police cars who decided to get in the way of his 12-ton dump truck destruction. Thankfully, that was the majority of the damage caused by this insane chase, and fortunately for everyone involved, no one was seriously injured.
That's good, isn't it?
But hey, click on screen right now to check out this video. This has been Tommy.
That was mad, right? To be fair, there was some mad
They're
ones
so
in there.
crazy, but they were all different.
Yeah, it weren't just the same
Police chase
a crash, they got them in the end. It was just completely different storylines.
Yeah.
That was good, wasn't it?
It was good, yeah.
Smash
really
that like button if you enjoy, guys. Smash the subscribe button as well. You're absolute legends. We'd seriously appreciate it. And what should we do?
Have a fantastic day.
And we will see you legends in the next one. Peace.